Hello, welcome back. In this session, we are going to learn about how to install secondary site and what is the importance of secondary site, when and how you can utilize the secondary site concept in your SCCM environment. This is my primary site, and I have a one primary site. Before moving to install SCCM secondary site, first we need to know what is the secondary site. Basically, secondary site have used for the. It is totally optional. Optional. It is depend on your choice how you can you design your infrastructure. Uh, uh, and also it is the relationship between primary to secondary site relationship create during the installation of secondary site. Basically, if you have created the secondary site, then it will create the relationship between primary to secondary. And during the installation of the secondary site, you must need to install SQL Server Express edition, or if you have any full SQL Server database, you can install. Basically, it is used for the database replication, sometime database and sometime a file-based replication. And also, if suppose basically it's a uh, most important to use for the secondary site, like you have a multiple of location have multiple remote office, and each remote office have containing more than 500 clients. In this scenario, you need to create the secondary site, because if you have not created, then you suppose your 500 machine have go and try to communicate with primary server, then it will create more network traffic. So you need to install the secondary site, and you control the network bandwidth by creating the secondary site in your remote location. And also secondary site have basically it not assign the sites. It is only used for the communication purpose. Okay, let's move to the server side. Before moving to installing secondary site, you must need to know there are some prerequisite, like as I have first you need to decide which server you have created the secondary site. In this my scenario, this is a fresh VM we have just created, and this server we have installed the SCCM secondary site. Like you have you know to see this server is already domain joined. And before installing secondary site, you must know need to install some prerequisite, like uh, need to enable some port, firewall, SQL port, and 1443 as a SQL. 1443 and 4022 is used for the SQL database communication purpose, and 135 and 445 is used for the file-based data transfer. I have already enabled this port using this PowerShell script, and I have already installed some prerequisite like IIS servers related uh, SCCM, and also install the SCCM prerequisite, like you can see here. IIS server is installed along with bits, background, RDC, and .NET Framework package, core package are installed. And second step, once you have installed the prerequisites and enable the port, then second step to grant the network permission. Like you have this is a my secondary site server, and this is a my primary server. in this server between primary to secondary, we need to grant the communication permission. So we have in a DC, I have created one security group. Here you can see I have created a security group, SCCM security group. Inside the security group, we have added all SCCM server like a primary server and secondary site. And also during the installation of primary site, you have created the system management container and delegate the connection permission. Like here, you can also see I have already grant the permission. Here you can see this security group is already added as a full rights, and because basically it is used for the like you can see the primary server have published the site code related information inside system management container. Once you have installed the secondary site, and you can also add the member in a secondary site. Though once installed, you can see here is creating the secondary publish the secondary site related information. Now this is the second step before moving to install a secondary site, and I have already added a security group in a administrative section like computer management, administrative. I have added the all SCCM servers. These are the basic prerequisite for installing the secondary site. In future, if someone need to install any other secondary site, just we need to add permission in a administrative domain controller domain domain controller have already added the member of the security group. Then you add the in a group and delegate the permission. Now jump into the demo. Here is a CCM primary site. Click on administration and click on sites. Here sites, you can see the system create a secondary site. This is a welcome wizard. Now you can see the following site system rule will be installed on the secondary site. If you have installing any secondary site, MP and DP it install automatically in a secondary site. Okay. Now click on next. Here you can define the secondary site code. In my case, we have defined the Lucknow, and also you can browse and select your secondary site server name SCCM, and you can Lucknow. In my case, I have only one drive. Is by default pointing the C drive. If you have more than one drive, then you can select browse and you can select as per your selection. In my case, I have only one drive, so I can install in a C drive. There are two options. If you have very good network bandwidth, then you can push entire source over the network. Otherwise, you can delegate the local source file, a CD. If you have a latest CDR, you can open your primary site, CD latest, and copy the entire folder in a local folder, and you can um, point out this. In my scenario, I have selected this one because I am a local, and I have already enabled these port in a secondary site servers. You can see here like control panel. Here you now you can see port 113, 143340. These are the port we have already enabled using this command PowerShell script, or you can and also create the manual like open here and create the inbound or onbound roles as per your convenience. Now it's looking good. Okay, here you can describe the DP, and also yeah, there are some different options like install and configure IIS. If you I have already installed the IIS component, but if you have missing anything I required, then it will be installed automatically. I selected this yes, okay, and now I'm going to next. There is a communication pattern of you using the HTTP or HTTPS. I selected the HTTPS. Next, here I have reserved the space at least 1 GB. Here you can select the drive live. If you which drive you can create the content library content, and it will take the automatic where is this more space it will contain the automatic. Then select next. Validate content. You can schedule as a weekly, and also select the priority as low. Next, and add the boundary group. I have selected my primary boundary group. Now you can select next. So you can close this wizard and just refresh, and you can all you able to see there is something happening and something installing on the secondary site servers. And also you can select and you can show the installation. Here you can see the prerequisite check is began. It will uh, uh, check all prerequisites, then it proceeds further. It will take some time, so I am pausing the video. Now you can see just close, and again you able to you can try to see this showing status. All prerequisite has successfully passed. It will uh, take some more time to copy the entire folder, set of folders. Like there are some warnings, we can ignore this. The SQL memory limit is not set, so we can proceed further. Now we looks good, so we can proceed further. Now you can see all prerequisite bus and bootstrap folder is copy over the network, and I have access C drive of the my secondary side. Like you able to see here, you create the bootstrap, and now is extract and installing all components. Definitely it will take around 30 to 40 minutes. So I am pause the video. Now you can see bootstrap folder is copy and extracted in a temp folder. Here you can see the client and all components are copied and it is installing. Now you can just here you can also try to open CM config like a config manager setup.log, and okay, now I'm trying to open in a secondary site. Here just refresh this. Now bootstrap copy and stack in the temp folder. Here you can see, and also you can review the installation and what's process is going on. So you can first we open the CM trace, open. Now you can see SQL Server Express Edition installation is installed, installing the C drive and still installing some of the component in install is like a port. You are able to see the port 143 and 444 is it's all already configured. Looks good. And installing the component. Now you can open a control panel and check it is still installing. It will take some more time to installing the SQL Server. Here, here you can see uh, here you can just refresh and you can see now SQL Server related component, native client and SQL language setup, and also install the SQL 2016 is all SQL related component installed successfully, and installation is further in progress. Definitely it will take some more time, so I pause the video, come back. And also in a GUI you can also track the installation, which component installed and which component installing, and remaining components are still installing, like installation of the bootstrap is downloaded and is tracked in a temp folder. Once static it will install the some component. Also you can monitor here the show status, like here you can show the status and just refresh. Another way you can log in the secondary site server and monitor the config manager setup.log. It will contain all information, and you have able to see some of the component installed successfully, like visual C plus is installed, and it detected the product update in this, and just refresh the control panel. Here you can see some of the SQL component installed successfully, and it is some are pending. It will take some more time. Let's pause the video. Now you can see installation is completed. Now you can go back to server. uh, here here you clearly installed and is successfully succeeded the installation secondary site, and is successfully completed. Now you are able to see the structure of folder structure, like DP, content library folders, pkgd. It's already existed, and it's looking all components are installed successfully, and it looks like good. And also you can see the content library folder is already there successfully in my primary site. So you can, so it is a client is active and it's successfully installed. One site installed, so you can made some changes as per your requirement, like if you required any changes post of the installation, like management point or any other changes, so you can easily here the client communication, and also you can configure the DPs, like you have required more settings and more configuration in a secondary site. You can also add like a PXE enable, content validation, boundaries, and others. So you can post up the installation you made changes and you can easily monitor. No, and I am trying to distribute one content in my secondary site and check how it will distribute it or not. Okay, and start. I have one basic application, so I can try to distribute here. So as per your designing purpose, you have a multiple DPs group, so you can create the group of multiple DP, like here is a two DP as a secondary DP and a primary DP. So you can create the DP as a groups as per your designing part. So you can add your DPs and it will very healthy and useful for if you have deploying distributing any content is not missing, so you can target as a DP collection and distribute the content on all DPs. So just I have distributed one application, so I can see the status it's showing as a in progress. One is as a success, it's a my primary DP, and another is a secondary is a in progress state. It will take some more time, and also in you so you can also monitor the like so you able to see the one is showing is in progress. It will take some time and it will be distribute content, and the secondary side is successfully. It will say, take some more time, and also you can see like site is active, and so basically, requirement of secondary site is totally depend on how to you design your infra and what is the your requirement, how to use use a secondary site. So in this video, you have learned about how to configure secondary site, what is the requirement of secondary site, and how to utilize the benefit of secondary sites. And thanks for watching my video. So please do not forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.